Everyone, welcome to the webinar. I want to thank you all for support and kind words. This really means a lot to me, and I was flattered to see all your comments and all your messages. And really, by seeing this, you understand that everything happens for a reason. And this failure, it brought so much support that I just could never expect that. I have failed in one business. But I have learned a lot from it, and I just think that it would have been kind of selfish on my side not to share those learnings with you. And if I can help at least some of you to not repeat some of my mistakes, I would be very happy. But please don't have high expectations, and don't take the information which I give you as something which is written in stone. This is just my experience. It can be the other way around. Everything is, of course, my point of view. So I give it to you as I had it, but it's up to you if you want to take it or not and how you want to take it. So yes, let's get into it. Yep, about me a little bit, just for you to have an understanding of who you're speaking to. I am Cristina Gadibari, and I come from Moldova. Moldova is a very small and beautiful country in Eastern Europe, if some of you might not heard about it maybe, with great people, but unfortunately it's the poorest country in Europe. And 3 years ago, my husband and I moved to Sweden. The reason for that was that I got a scholarship to study here. So it was a 2 years master degree, which ended actually with us deciding to live in Sweden for a while. And during the first year in Sweden, when I was since a student, we opened our first company. Since living on a scholarship was not enough, Sweden is an expensive country, and I needed an extra source of income. It had to be a business that doesn't require much starting capital, since we didn't have it, and something that can be combined with my full-term studies. So after giving it a thought, I opened a cleaning company and just built the website myself, hired a few cleaners, a work-from-home assistant which were booking meetings, and I took care of operations, marketing, and accounting in the evenings. So it was a perfect setup. That company did not fail. It is still active, it's well reputed, growing steadily, and actually I'm very proud of it. And besides that, I was juggling my studies with managing the cleaning company and having a part-time job, which shifted into a full-time job after I finished my studies. So I've changed a few jobs in Sweden and now work full-time at Bureau van Dijk. I really like my job, have great colleagues, great management, and as long as this job will allow me to develop my entrepreneurial self on the side, I will do both things. Since actually I see that it's a very big advantage to be involved in both. In the startup world, to actually get the energy, freshness, and the vibe, and also in the corporate world, to get the knowledge, experience, and be able to think big and think globally. Yep, and the following step is that last year, my husband and I were blessed to have a daughter. And of course, I went on maternity leave and opened my second company, Get Deals, on maternity leave. This is the story which you are more familiar with. I opened it on maternity leave since in the first month my daughter was sleeping a lot, and I thought, well, I have a lot of free time, let's just do something. And this idea of opening a website which promotes deal has been in my head for a long time. And I thought it's a good timing. So pretty much I am a mompreneur, which is a multitasking woman who can balance both the stress of running a business and the time-consuming duties of a motherhood at the same time. I really like this definition. Yep, about Get Deals. This is a website and apps promoting special deals and discounts from businesses around Stockholm. You might be familiar with the big players on the market, such as Groupon, which is the global company doing the same thing. So it was a business kind of like Groupon. I started it all by myself, being on maternity leave. Although, as I said, the idea was born a long while before that, since I used this kind of websites when I was a student in Moldova, and when I came in Sweden, didn't really find too many of them, only 2, and I thought, oh well, that's an opportunity. And then in 2015, Groupon exited Sweden, so I thought, oh wow, that's actually a good market to tap in. And I started it in Sweden without speaking Swedish, which was very, very complicated, and it made it much more harder than you would think. Most of the communication and contact had to be translated, which took a lot of time and energy. I have invested most of my savings in it, and I took a loan on my responsibility to finance the business. The bad part is that this is my own debt, which I have to repay. But the good part is that I took the loan from Almi, which is an institution supporting businesses in Sweden, so I have to pay only a part of it. Many people have commented, but what happened to the employees and contractors and so on? I have given a notice to the employees and contractors, and everyone got their salaries. So the thing that the business went bankrupt pretty much influenced in a negative way only me and Almi, if thinking about the loan. Also for months I slept less than 5 hours per night working on the company, since it was naive to think that my daughter will sleep a lot during the day. And then I didn't want to waste the precious time which I had with her, and I started to work more in the night. I would put my family to bed at 10 in the night and work on the company from 10 to 3, then go to bed to wake up at 4, and then at 6, and then at 8 to feed my baby. So it was a very hard time, but thanks to my daughter's love and supportive husband and the enthusiasm, I went through it and got the energy somehow. Yes, but get deals, how actually it went and what was the business setup, to say. The system was running well. There were good workflows and it was very cost efficient. But I would like to outline some very important learnings already here. As you know, I had 2 tech guys in Pakistan developing the website, and they took care of the website functionality and the tech part. And it was the cheapest alternative way to actually build the website. Since I got the Almi throughout the way, but at the beginning I started with my own finances and everything. Money was really a resource which was very scarce, and I had to think in the budget terms to keep it the expenses as low as possible. So hiring these guys was the cheapest alternative, since I posted the project on freelancer.com, and then many companies and freelancers applied. I chose a few ones based on their reviews and prices and so on, and then looked at references and previous work, and I chose these 2 guys. But now I understand that maybe I saved some money, but I spent probably 5 times more time in actually micromanaging them and making sure that they're doing everything right. So this was a mistake. And then the second thing, I had salespeople calling to negotiate the deals with businesses in Stockholm. And also, because of budget, I could not afford professional Swedish-speaking salespeople. And first I started with hiring English-speaking people in Sweden, which were not with any sales background. They were either students or work-at-home moms, and it didn't work out too well. Then I shifted to outsourcing a company in India, and they were professional telemarketers, but actually they were also talking in English, and the distance was a bit hard to manage, still better though. And then, because they were speaking English, I had a virtual assistant, Swedish speaking, who would take the deals they negotiated, translate them to Swedish, and then place them on the website. So this system which I had was very cost efficient, probably the best budget-wise that you can think. But because of that, it was not really the most efficient, to say so. And also, I had a company in India doing search engine optimization and online marketing that worked well. They were professional, and I got a very good price, and they delivered good services. And I myself worked closely with all of the above and managed all business processes and daily operations. So the conclusions from this part are the following learnings. If you don't have to outsource, I mean, if you have the money, then don't outsource. It's much better to have the professionals in-house and save time and save energy and save nerves. But then, if the budget is an issue, which was in my case, then outsourcing is a very good solution, and it can save you a lot of money. But if you outsource, do it smartly. And by this I mean a few of the following points. First of all, choose a company versus freelancers. For example, I was working with freelancers for developing the website, and with a company which later did telemarketing, and another one which did sales, search engine optimization, and online marketing. And I can say that with working with company, it's much less hassle and much more professional. With the guys, for example, they had their own plans. Sometimes they were hard to reach, so it was just a hassle. I recommend, if you outsource, take a company versus a freelancer. Go for established and experienced companies, and check examples of previous jobs and ask for referrals. So pretty much I can put it in three points to say. The cheapest alternative with a lot of hassle is having a freelancer. The best alternative, which is the most expensive, is to employ the people and have them in-house. And the middle one is to outsource, but to a company. So it's up to you how you want to do it. And then the next learning is regarding people, that it's very important to choose the right people and value them. And people are not products, so don't choose them by price. For example, 3 unprofessional people and without skills with a salary X will not deliver the same as 1 professional and skilled person with salary 3X. This is important to learn and to keep in mind, since I think that that was also a big mistake which I did. Outsourcing people. But these were not the best ways to say so, but the business was still running. We were still getting the deals in, placing the deals on the website. So this mechanism could potentially do it. This was not why the business failed. I have researched, and we will get to that soon. The business failed, right? And why did it fail? We ran out of money. So there was nothing in the bank to actually sustain the system anymore. And when you run out of money, you have to think about 3 potential reasons to say so. Was it a low budget initially? To say, did you have a low startup budget and nothing in the pipeline to sustain the business? Were there high costs involved? Or were there low sales? And then I looked into all those questions, and I decided, yes, the budget was low. No, the costs were not high. And yes, the sales were low. And then we dig deeper into the issues. The first issue being the low budget. Low budget. I think this was one of the biggest issues I had, of course. Money is important, and business needs money to grow. This is just how it is. And when you think about it, initially, before starting a business, just be honest with yourself. Can you bootstrap or no? Do you have enough money to do it yourself or no? If you do, then it's fantastic. go for it. But prepare for the worst case scenario and put aside enough money to sustain the business, at least in the first 3 years, if no sales occur. I had, with all the finances which I gained with my own ones and the Almi loan, I had enough money to sustain the business for 1 year if no sales occur, and this was actually the case. It lasted for 1 year, and then the money ended and we had to declare bankruptcy. So it's great if you have the money, but if not, find investors or team up with someone who has it. Of course, it's up to you what kind of investors do you want. Institutions, grants, family, friends, or actually venture capitals, angel investors, and so on. But it's better to own a part of your dream business than no dream business at all. This is important to understand. And most of the time, besides money, investors might bring in knowledge and expertise to the table, which is also very valuable. And it's not smart to save on what's critical for the business. As I mentioned before, this could be developing the product, which is website and apps, and people. You need key people and smart people to make it happen. And if you can't afford smart people, paying them salaries and hiring them, team up, find entrepreneurs, give them shares, divide the business. But it's very important to be a good team and have different skills in the house. This is common sense, but if you're opening a tech startup, it's very important to have the tech people in and the person responsible for actually sales, marketing, and business development also in the house. Yes, there was a big issue for our company, having low budget and not being prepared to sustain the business longer term than we were. And then the other issue was low sales. In this part, I'd like to look at four sub-parts of this one. The first one is value proposition and business model. The second one is marketing. The third one is competition. And the fourth one is market trends. So let's look at the value proposition and business model. Get Deals. Get Deals was a website promoting business products, experiences, and services from businesses in Stockholm, right? And the value proposition for companies was grow your business by giving a one-time discount to new customers, deliver well, and then they will return as full-paying customers, right? So then companies invest a lot in marketing without knowing that they will actually have a return on investment or not. We propose them a solution where they would give a discount, but they know for sure that they get that customer. For customers, the business value proposition was get 50 to 90% discount on products, services, and experiences in Stockholm. This is just amazing. Who doesn't want discounts, right? And then the business model, where we're making our money, was to connect the above and get 10% from each transaction in form of a voucher price. Sounds good, doesn't it? Yeah, the value proposition sounds good, but then when you dig more in depth, you understand that the situation is not really like that. Let me tell you why. This value proposition and business model, they were like that when this kind of business idea with Groupon and so on just started a while ago. But then as time went by, it was noted, businesses noticed that actually most of the companies, most of the customers who come to these websites, they are deal hunters. They come, get the deal, and then they never return. And companies started to not really want to get involved in this kind of business. Because of course, why would I give a discount and maybe not even meet my break-even point with this partnership, and then the customer will never get back. And then a lot of good companies did not want to engage in this anymore, and the companies which wanted were those who actually maybe did not, very, very new companies who had no choice, or companies who had a very high margin, and you could find the similar product with a better price at their competition, for example. So then it started on both sides, not very good quality of customers and not very good quality of companies, and the business started decreasing. So yep, what looks fantastic from the beginning, if you dig deeper, is not actually that good. And I should have done my research better. I should have asked around, and I should have asked business experts, which I spoke to afterwards, and they actually gave me their insight on this value proposition and business model. And then marketing. Some key points to take, but this I also believe is common sense, and most of you know, is that marketing takes time, and it's good to have a dedicated person working with it. I thought that I can just do marketing myself, a big part of it, on top of all the other things, and I didn't expect that it takes so much time. It takes time both to do all the marketing activities, since it's so much to think of. It's the website, apps, social media, traditional marketing, emails marketing, events, content. It's just a lot of work, and plus it takes time for it to actually get a grasp on the public and evolve. Also take advantage of all channels, but prioritize the right one based on the return on investment. We have tried social media marketing, cost per click, and we have tried also offline marketing, and working with established media agencies. And for example, it was much cheaper to use social media marketing and cost per click than to work with these media agencies and place banners on different popular websites, because the cost per click from those websites, banners, to our site was much higher. Yep, also speak the language of your customers, and that is directly and indirectly. Directly meaning that it was very hard to not have a Swedish speaking person in the house. When I was doing marketing, everything needed to be done through the assistant, and she would translate. It takes time. It just have someone who speaks the language. This is obvious, and this is very important. And then speak the language of your customers in terms of know who you are targeting, know your niche, and target them based on their preferences and based on the right keywords and so on. And then cost per click for short-term results, search engine optimization for long-term results. You need to engage in both, but to actually get someone now on your website, you can't base on search engine optimization, because it takes time for your website to actually get on the first page. Cost per click is a much better option for now results. And then be creative, try guerrilla marketing. Our part of creativity was, I didn't even know what else to do, and then I found these very creative guys on Fiverr.com, where they would hold your sign in the jungle and dance and say, hey, get deals.se, and so on. This was very weird. It had nothing to do with our business, but it catches the attention. So that was good. And have a good marketing budget. Marketing costs. And it costs a lot. And sometimes having a small marketing budget and investing a little bit is just lost money, because it has no real effect. Yep, let's move to the next one and very important part. And this is competition. Identify and analyze your competitors objectively. And objectively is the key point, which I wish I could have at the beginning. Don't let your enthusiasm blind you in front of the facts. So how I looked at my competition. I searched the web, asked around, and identified two biggest direct competitors, which were Groupon, Sweden, and Let's Deal. These are two companies having the same business model, providing the same things. They've been around for a while, big companies. So I actually took them as an example also, but they were the direct competitors. How did I look at them? I said, yay, only two direct competitors. And then in 2015, Groupon actually stopped operations in Sweden. And instead of thinking, why did they leave? What happened? Maybe they didn't see a good market. I was thinking, yay, one of them exited Sweden, leaving a pool of customers which I can tap into. So it's again the enthusiasm which took over. And then also I looked at their financials and said, wow, yay, they're making tens of millions of dollars per year. So it's a good market to enter. This was my enthusiasm blinding the numbers, pretty much. And I was looking at high numbers because that's what I wanted to see. This is Groupon's financials. And wow, $10 million, $50 million, $90 million. Let's Deal AB, 14, 15, 16, $13 million. That's huge numbers. They have good profit. Fantastic. Let's just tap into it. So I was looking and I saw numbers when really I had to look and see trends. Because when you look at market trends, let's say Groupon, in the last 3 available years of their accounts, they ended in 2015, exited Sweden, the trend was very negative and was the same for Let's Deal, maybe not so steep, but still a negative trend. So I entered in a dangerous field from the start, and failure was almost inevitable. With bad market trends and a very small budget, which limited me from taking best people and best solution. This is what it actually ended to be. The giants will still be around, Groupon and Let's Deal. I mean, they have millions, they have great people, and they have the resources to be creative and innovative. And I'm sure they will figure out some way to maybe revamp the business or to change it some way in an innovative way and try to reformulate the value proposition. If not, then it will probably not be very smart, but it's up to them. For us, for me, it's very important what I have learned from my failure. So to end this, I would say that I recommend you to take risk and don't be afraid to pursue your dreams. Be creative and think differently. Keep up your enthusiasm, but don't let it blind the facts. Do your research. Do it better, much better than I did it from the start, and make sure that you are tapping into a good market and analyze your competitors objectively. Be ready to sacrifice money, time, energy, and much more than you would think initially. It's very hard, but it's worth it, because we all know that the taste of success is the best taste in the world. So I wish you all success. But if you ever happen to fail, just remember what it really means, because fail is the first attempt in learning. I want to thank you all for this webinar. I hope you have learned at least something. And yeah, let's stay in touch. I love to see my LinkedIn network so active and supportive. And just let me know if you have any more questions, or let's keep in touch. Have a great weekend, everyone.